is Rosalind J. Harris, better known as B. I have been publishing the Denver Urban Spectrum since 1987. At that time, Denver Mayor Federico Pena congratulated us on providing a wonderful medium for local writers to express an appreciation for the different lifestyles and cultures, because our community is as culturally rich as it is diverse. Then in 1999, Mayor Wellington E. Webb afforded me, a small woman-owned business, the opportunity to expand my cultural awareness internationally, and invited me to cover his mission to West Africa with 11 other mayors. While serving on the Visit Denver board with John D. Hickenlooper, he jokingly said to me, it would be pretty cool to have a geeky white boy as mayor, as he was preparing to make his announcement to run. I said yes, and I'm grateful that he did. Over the last 8 years, this open door policy has been continued with Mayor Michael B. Hancock, with conversations about the community, education, health, business, and other issues of concern. As a community publication, having a relationship with the city, its officials, and most importantly, the mayor, is vital for survival. We provide a platform for the community, an avenue for voices to be heard. As a professional journalist, we strive for excellence, and recently received a Lucky 13 Media Awards from the Colorado Press Association, with first-time entries in our 32 years of publishing. So I stand today as a Black woman, a mother, a grandmother, a businesswoman, a community leader, and an expert in my field. This coming mayoral race is important for all communities, because Denver Urban Spectrum is all communities and for communities. And after watching it unfold, it drew a lot of concern for me and my friend and fellow publisher, Chris Frescas. For the May 7th election, Chris wholeheartedly supported Lisa Calderon. We even joked about being on the opposite sides of the fence for the first time in our 28-year business relationship. We laughed and said we would talk after the election, but we both knew whatever the outcome, it would not change our relationship or respect for one another. Consequently, the outcome brought us back together, and after several conversations, we decided to host a mayoral forum for our communities to hear firsthand platforms of both candidates. Unfortunately, the Jamie Gillis for Mayor campaign declined our request without offering an alternative date and time. After having a relationship with past mayors, Pena, Webb, Hickenlooper, and Hancock, this was very disturbing and threw up a red flag for me, which was the first of many. As I watched and listened, her actions and words began to startle me, beginning with her lack of knowledge for the acronym of the NAACP. That was followed with her scrubbing her culturally insensitive Instagram account post advertising a meet and greet fundraiser at a Mexican restaurant for a nacho taco bar and lowriders conversation. And also a 10-year-old tweet wondering why so many cities felt it was necessary to have a Chinatown. It has been a challenge running a small business for more than 3 decades. And over those years, I have supervised more than 300 contributors who helped Denver Urban Spectrum, the award-winning publication that it is today. Not as many as Mayor Hancock's 11,000 city employees, but more than the 10 people Jamie Gillis has supervised. Our contributors have been white, African American, Africans, Latinos, Asians, Native Americans, and Islanders. Ms. Gillis has never acknowledged that she has hired a person of color. Denver is an exclusive city, not a segregated city, and Ms. Gillis has lacked the courage to campaign in half of the city while only campaigning north of 6th Avenue. As a woman, I support a woman being mayor of Denver, but not this one. She would set women's rights back because of her lack of management experience to run the government. Additionally, she has no plan for the development of the airport and the area around it. As a black woman, we have endured sexual harassment, sexual abuse, and rape for the last 400 years. It is nothing new. It wasn't acceptable then, nor is it now. And as a woman, I would never condone any form of sexual harassment. But I do question the actions, timing, motive, and validity of Detective Leslie Branch Wise and her allegations against the mayor of Denver regarding inappropriate text messages sent to her in 2012. At that time, Mayor Hancock admitted his wrongdoing and publicly apologized to his family and Leslie for his actions. Last year, we reached out to Leslie to allow her to tell her story to the Denver Urban Spectrum. We were informed by Tony Kovaleski with Channel 7 that she was not giving any more interviews to anyone. On May 24th this year, she released to Westward another text message she says she also received from Mayor Hancock in 2012 of a meme of naked African children dancing that included the N-word. Mayor Hancock said he had no recollection of sending or forwarding that meme to anyone. On May 28th, during the Denver Post mayoral debate at the Denver Press Club, Jamie Gillis mentioned once again the sexual harassment issue, much like her now newly formed unity team, Penfield Tate and Lisa Calderon, had consistently and constantly presented on their campaign trails. On May 29th, Jamie Gillis held a press conference with Leslie, who was asked by a reporter, if that issue did not come up at the debate last night, would you be in front of these cameras and microphones today? She emphatically replied, I probably would not. So what prompted her to come forward now, after all these months of hearing about this issue from Penfield Tate and Lisa Calderon, who talked about the allegations at every opportunity they had while campaigning for the mayor of Denver? I will close regarding the comment I heard from Jamie Gillis about, I come from a place of white privilege. I too come from a place of white privilege. Many years ago, my great-grandfather was Irish and a plantation owner. That white privilege does not help or hold up for me today because that Irish blood was mixed with my ancestral African roots from Cameroon and my Cherokee and Choctaw Native American heritage. And because of our skin color, we were raised, taught, and told that we had to work harder to get ahead. There was no privilege. But that is no excuse for Jamie Gillis, and nor does it give her a pass for cultural insensitivity. The mayor's office is not the place for someone to learn for the first time about how to interact with communities of color. Acknowledging white privilege without taking actions to do better and leaning on people of color to handle that aspect of her campaign and to teach her how to improve is insulting. This is a poorly run campaign with mistake after mistake after mistake in many areas without any proper, appropriate apologies. Her actions today show us how she will run the city tomorrow, and that is not acceptable. I encourage all of Denver voters to vote Hancock for Denver on Tuesday, June 4th, so he can continue the good work he started 8 years ago for our growing city of Denver. Thank you.
Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Chris Frescus. I am the publisher of the El Semanario newspaper, a publication which I founded almost 30 years ago. Like Bea said, her and I have been in close touch since that day. We've had many conversations with regards to our leaders, administrations, and the community that we serve. Today, we reach over 50,000 plus readers every week, and that's in our print. We also have a digital view, which again reaches in the thousands. Challenges we faced then still haunts us today. Different times, different attire. So let's not be led to believe that the challenges then we do not face today. They are still front and center. We are seen but not heard. Back in March, the Denver Republican Party and the Lincoln Club held a mayoral forum. A question was presented to both candidates. What do you tell those who oppose the city of Denver being a so-called sanctuary city? And would you have a problem with the sign above the city and county building? It was Ms. Gillis's answer that gave me insight as to her perspective regarding our immigrant communities. Mayor Hancock's response was, yeah, I do agree with the sign. That's why I put it up. Thank you for that, sir. After May 7th, when a runoff was declared, our communities wanted answers. Our responsibilities as publishers and in respect to our communities, B&I organized a mayoral forum to give our audiences and the two candidates a platform to have an open dialogue. Instead, the Jamie Gillis for Mayor campaign declined our request. We then partnered with the Montbello Organizing Committee, along with the Montbello Neighborhood Improvement Association, the Colorado Latino Leadership Advocacy and Research Organization, and the Montbello Urban Spectrum Edition. Once again, the Jamie Gillis for Mayor campaign declined, stating it was due to scheduling conflicts. Conflicts? Our communities are conflicts? In my publisher's note this week, How We Are Represented Matters, I give preference to our growing numbers and how discrimination continues to be at the forefront of our struggle. How our nation's president continues to encourage the act of dehumanizing individuals, groups, and races, and how immigrants of all backgrounds are being used as human pawns. The grand scheme of racism and economic opportunity. We are allowing this administration to place immigrant children and families in detention facilities in what is basically privately run internment camps. When I heard Ms. Gillis' response to the question given by the Denver Republican Party and the Lincoln Club, her declining to give our communities the time for their questions and concerns to be heard, it was not only clear, but it was unquestionable that this was not and cannot be the next mayor for Denver. Change is imminent. We cannot stop it. However, it can be addressed and guided. Mayor Hancock has been a longtime advocate for our immigrant communities. He has supported them and their families. He has supported all communities. June 4th, we have a decision to make. Let's make the right decision. Let's re-elect Mayor Michael Hancock as our next mayor so he can continue to uphold the values and advancement for our people. Vote Michael Hancock. Thank you, Chris.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me thank B and Chris, both who, through the Urban Spectrum and El Semanario, have been venerable institutions in our community, really sharing the word and the information, the news about our community and about our people to the people of Denver and the region for now over 30 years. Chris, about 30 years, and B, about 32 years. This has been a phenomenal, both have been phenomenal publications, both which I read and they make available to the community at large. These are important endorsements because they represent the diaspora, if you will, of our great city. I grew up in Denver, and I know that both Chris and B have spent their lives in Denver. We've grown up in diverse communities, and while we are proud to come from the communities in which have nurtured us and have provided us opportunities to be successful, we chose to live in Denver because of its diversity, its rich heritage, and its belief that all people here are welcome and they should be included, whether they are foreign or are native born. This is a great city for that. And so as we move forward, I think one of the things that you both talked about is really the indignation that any candidate for any office would refuse to go to any community in the city. Now, when you become mayor of a city or when you run for an office, you're running to represent all people, whether it's a comfortable feeling or not, whether they're going to have tough questions for you or not. We have a responsibility to walk in that room, in those rooms, and be willing to lean in and to listen and to have those tough but yet important conversations. And so I take these endorsements very seriously. I thank you very much for your support. And on June 4th, we got to make sure we vote. And I look forward to working with both of you going forward to keep our communities, no matter where they are in this city, involved, included, and well informed. So thank you both very much. June 4th. Thank you very much.